As the amount of forage in our Zone A has been depleted by now, we have brought the animals up to Zone C, and not only to Zone C but also to the wilder part that we have excluded so far. So we have opened our future road here so that they can enter this area and take advantage of what has been sleeping for a while. And you can see they have spread and are foraging on that grass that has evolved, that has developed here. And also the day is supposed to be rainy. The sun has come out. The forecast is not always right. It's a forecast, and here the weather changes quickly. Well, that seemed to be a very good idea to come out here, because it's the first time that I see this seasonal creek with some water in it. And it is flowing. So the source of this water is somewhere there at the neighbor. And we do have quite a bit of water in it. And Angel is walking towards the other end to check the fence there. And I will follow him to see how that looks like further downstream. But this is the area that I thought about making a very huge pond and also dam it a little bit on that end, because if I go over to the side, I can show you a detail. So up there is a well. It goes down some approximately 8 meters until it reaches the water level, or maybe just 5, but the point is it sits basically on a hill. So you can see down there at the bottom and where the water is. And for some reason, someone in the past built a well up there. So in theory, we can put a dam here on that end with the material that we excavate from here, and then we would have a lot of water stored in here. Of course, we need to be careful not to dam it too much, so that eventually it will backflow into the neighbor's land. That is something that we cannot do. So we have to be a little bit considerate and careful. But this seems to be a good idea. And this is quite interesting, that we do have running water in here. Let's see how it looks on that end. We also do have a little bit of runoff from that channel there where the animals are at the moment, and it goes through here. There's a little bit of standing water, and it will then overflow into the creek. This here used to be an animal water that was fed by some water line coming from the well that is here in this area. And it is a model that is pretty common here in the area. It is used for pigs. Of course, it's now not working because there is no pump and nothing, but it was fed from the well there in the back. This is also the area where a lot of aromatic plants are, and we definitely need to figure out how to manage this properly. The question is, what would be properly? Because it's basically something that is a Mediterranean forest of some sort, and I am a little bit reluctant to do whatever in here. I would like to understand first what is what, so that we do not chop away something that is valuable, for example. So deeper and deeper we go. The stream is here to the right, and somewhere further down there is the fence. There are some areas where it gets a little bit wider, and here we have a curve, and Angel found one who had been looking at the fence as well. So this is the end of our part of the stream, and as you can see, there is the fence. It is a little bit in bad shape, and we need to fix this now that we step by step begin to work in this area. But the question is when we have the time and all this. Right now it's makeshift. It's good enough so that the pigs stay in, given that there's enough acorns, and the cows are probably not lifting this up. What we also just talked about is to put the string there back into place and have it electrified, so that this also sends a message: please do not touch this fence. This wire is there because in the past our bulls went through the fence in order to open up a path for the whole herd. We had not enough grass, and on the other side there was grass, and so they did what is natural. Food is the element that makes them stay or go somewhere else. It's totally normal. And the only way to prevent this is that you have a fence that really can prevent them from passing. You might notice that they have grown quite a lot. And this is without any feed that we supply. It is all based on what they can find. That is what is called montanera around here, and that is the way the Iberian pig is supposed to live during this period of the year. So they fatten themselves on the acorns and other natural resources that the dehesa, which is the name for this landscape, provides. And here in this area there is a ton of acorns to be eaten by these guys. After all this rain that we have received, I can show you now in the sunshine what it achieved. So as you can see, this little trench here is completely full. This is what ran into it from the right. And walking on that terrain, I can also tell you that it is wet on the surface. So it's not really infiltrating yet. Lack of plants, lack of biomass and all that. So it seeps into this, but thankfully it will stay here a little bit longer. You can hear when I walk. That this is wet. And thankfully it will stay here a little bit longer and help to keep the area below moist. But as you can see, there we have also standing water on the surface. So right here there is a puddle, and there is even more, and I'm pretty sure we can find this in many other places here in this area. Step by step something is growing in the area where we intended to seed something in the past, but we failed because of a strike. The seed did not arrive in time, and then it was hot and dry, so everything died and we did not manage to have enough irrigation available. So we will repeat this, but with a little bit more foresight. And you can see here how it seeps from above, and that is basically what happened in all this terrain here before we started to do something. And you can see it's on the surface and it runs away. But with more plants, this will then stop. For example, here this is looking dry because here there was something, and therefore there is more biomass. And I wanted to go to the two big swales that we have there ahead. So let me cross this fence and then show you the details there. So this here is something that we have not seen since this was dug. This is now completely full, and it also is full here on the other side. So let me go up here so that we can have a look along the swale. So that water level is now high enough that it goes over the bumps, and we have a full swale. A little bit will fit in here, but you can call this full. But then I can already see something there in the back that is even more impressive. Let's check it out from a closer position. But before we go there, I can show you our new natural well, and it is even flowing. You can see that there is running water. This is what seeps out from this little pond that is behind this wall, and it goes down and down, and this is all completely wet wherever you look. It goes along into the other swale further down. So this has turned into a wetland, and you can see where I step, there is nothing dry. And it's quite muddy. It's a little bit of challenge. much. And here, where the guys brought in the excavator, the backhoe, it was a mistake. You can see what is left from that. You see a lot of water, and it's moving. Now let's find our way across this. You see what is happening here. And without that swale up there, this would be a lot worse. So the swale is doing its function, and as you can see there in this green spot, it is helpful. Now the problem is lack of seed here in this area, but as we continue to work, we will bring in the missing seed, and then this will improve a lot. So this is what I wanted to show you. So this is filled to the brim. And I'm pretty sure that this will stay like this for a while. Next opportunity I should fly the drone. And show you this from above. I am pretty sure that this is overflowing. Let's see. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case. This looks filled but intact. But as you can see, it seeps, and there is a lot of water slowly moving along that area here. So again, this swale is doing its function. The water is not rushing away. Of course it should be there, but again, lack of seed and therefore lack of plant material is what is missing. But this is the area, this is CT1, where we will put a animal path that loops around. This is 4 hectares in total, and then we build little areas, and in those little areas we will put a lot of plants, and then all this will come to bear fruit in a literal sense. So this is really working out very well. So our water retention features are now showing their potential. Little bit review from afar. This is the pond at the end of the seasonal creek, and it's also the lowest point here on our terrain. And as you can see, this is completely full. It is also overflowing, but not that much. And before the pond, all this water would have rushed away. Now at least it stays there. And the plan is to use this during summer for irrigation for plants that we would like to establish here in the area around it. The surplus of water will find its way back into the pond. So irrigating this is not a problem. We can easily do this. We have a pump that we can use for that, so we don't have to buy one, and it's powerful enough to irrigate this area, and hopefully we can pull this off. Of course, now the problem is, how do we establish this here? So other people would now get a tractor. As I keep mentioning, unless you buy one, it's difficult. And the other option would be to use pigs. But then that means to build the fence first. We will see how we can manage this. It would be a very good thing to have. We are going to have this at some point, no matter what. It's just a question of time. So it's not a question, should we or should we not? That is decided, and also the mix of things that we want to grow here. And all these grasses and all this will also come back. But this area in summer is very, very dry because it is compacted. And we want to do a heavy intervention. And this is one of the places where we can do this. But maybe at the end we decide that this time we will not do it here, but instead do things in our zone A that is in a lot worse shape than this one here. And actually I should add that we probably should not do this here, because in zone A we have CT1 and CT2, which are barren soil, especially CT2. I know from past experience that CT1 will come back in spring, but in 2 that is different. So we certainly have to do that first, instead of begin here to remove what is currently there. So this is too good to be destroyed and replaced with something else. The other area is in a lot worse shape and it makes more sense. But eventually we will come to this place and do what I just explained. With enough wetness comes the fungi. So all these mushrooms here definitely indicate that there's something good going on in the soil. Because as far as I know, fungi is what we want to have in our soil, and apparently we do. So it is very good to have them here on top, spreading their spores, and more fungi means healthier soil. And that also means that it's probably more porous, I'm guessing, and therefore the plant roots from the grasses here will have it easier to grow, and longer roots mean it will stay green for longer. So this is all very positive.